Hello there, this is Bibi Cameron, and in this video I want to show you one of the easiest and also one of my favorite coloring techniques. I have called this technique Karin Marker's rainbow coloring, and it's good to apply colors to a wide variety of stamped images. It could be an object, florals, or anything else. Here are some samples to get your creative juices flowing. The first thing we are going to need is high quality, a smooth watercolor paper. I like to use Arches hot press or a smooth Bristol paper. This paper is smooth, so it's going to allow me to have a crisp stamped image, and it also allows me to add washes of color. I trim the paper to the size, and then I'm going to use a stamping platform to stamp a beautiful background image. We need to have the hands really dry and free of any oil or hand cream. And we are going to use also an anti-static powder. I'm loving this powder by Simon Says Stamp. And this will stop the powder to stick in unwanted areas. So we cover the paper with that, and then we are going to stamp using Versa Mark Clear ink. I try to do this in one go, because sometimes when we stamp twice, the lines of the stamped image get thicker, and I don't really like that. In this step, I want you to completely cover that stamp with the ink. Make sure that it's fully covered. Have a look. It has to be glossy. I take at least 1 minute to do that, and then I try to stamp this in one go, because sometimes when we stamp this twice, the lines of the stamped image tend to get thicker, and I don't really like that. I'm checking that the stamped image transfer completely, and then I'm going to use a super fine or ultra fine embossing powder. And if you see, I apply a generous amount of that powder on the paper, and then I'm going to check this from side to side like so. And I take my time to do this, okay? I make sure that the whole image is covered with this powder from side to side, and then I do the same from the top to the bottom of the paper. Because this is a background image, for me is a little bit hard to handle, because I don't want to touch the edges of the image, or I will affect the image, of course, because it's stamped. So I'm carefully trying to do this just like that. Then we are going to shake off the excess of embossing powder that is on the paper by tapping the back of the paper like so. And you can also use a tool, a pencil or something to do that, and do it with some energy. Don't be scared. Remove the excess of powder with the brush bristles, or blow the powder off the paper like so. So do it with energy. Now we are going to turn on the heat tool, and we are going to wait until the air gets hot. For better results, and ideally, I will put the heat tool behind the paper, so the heat will be applied at the back of the paper, and that the powder will melt evenly and really beautifully. But because it's a little bit hard to handle this background image, I cannot hold it with my hands while I apply heat. I just put a silicone mat, and I'm doing it this way. The heat tool needs to be close to the paper, but not that close that can burn it. This is very hot, and those are very simple steps to get a beautiful heat embossed image. Now I'm going to place this over a sticky mat. This is going to stop the paper from warping, and also will allow me to be able to move the paper without inking my fingers, although that's going to happen anyways. Okay, now we are going to start applying colors, and we are going to apply the different ink colors directly from the marker to the paper like I'm doing here. It's just a little bit of ink. I'm applying these inks around the center of the image, and with a wet brush I'm going to spread the ink towards the edges of the image. And if you want to get more vibrant or bright colors, you can repeat the process by dropping ink directly from the markers to the wet areas of the paper, and just repeat again passing the brush until you are happy with the results. I do it twice. You can do it as many times as you want or just once. Okay, we are going to repeat that for all the flowers. It's the same process always. Now, you need to keep cleaning the brush. For example, here I'm blending yellow into orange and orange into red and red into violet. Those colors are complementary. But when I'm moving from violet to green, I need to wash the brush because those are different colors, and if I blend them together, I'm going to get a brown shade and I don't want that. It's the same here when I'm moving from green to blue. So I wash the brush as well, and with my fingertips I squeeze the brush before passing it on the paper so it's not loaded with water. And I made a bad decision here. I decided to dilute the black ink of one of the Karin markers with water to apply this on the center of the flowers. And I didn't like the way this looked, but I kept going. And I also decided to add gold metallic watercolor just to try to lighten that black ink that I laid down, and it kind of worked, but you will see me later adding more black, and don't ask me why, I just did it. So something here important is that when you are adding colors to flowers that are super close to each other, try to make sure that the colors at the edges are not the same, so it looks more harmonic. So if the edges of a flower are red and yellow, the flower next to that flower needs to have the edges blue and green, so you will have better results. In terms of coloring, that's everything you need to know. Now, when I removed this paper from the sticky mat, I was surprised because the paper was completely flat. There was no warp on it, and it was wonderful. Usually you use masking tape at the edges. I never use that really because I use very little water. But if you are considering doing this, the sticky mats are a great solution. All those supplies I'm using are in the video description. Then you see me here applying more black, and I don't know, I just wanted to give it a try and see how it looks. And actually when you add black next to those bright colors, the black tends to look super intense and it's intimidating, but I just did it. I also decided after doing this to use a wet brush to go over those black areas, and I spread that towards the center of the flowers. And as you see there, when I'm doing this, I take my time. This is relaxing to me. There is no rush. Sometimes I play music, but because I wanted to catch some natural sounds, I didn't, and that's like a torture to me. I really like to play music. It really helped me to focus and to feel more happy, and it actually really inspired me. I found that when I play music, I'm faster, I have better ideas, etc. So once I finish this, I die cut it, I glue it onto an A2 card base, I put a heart topper, and I added a sentiment. And that's the project I wanted to share with you today as well. And I hope you like these ideas and this technique, and I hope you give it a try. Thank you very much for watching, and happy crafting. Bye.